So I've been an owner dentist for about 10 years now. And, financially, things were good, but, paying a lot in taxes and didn't know where more to invest in versus just putting money aside in SEP, IRA. So financially, it was just that pretty much, make money, pay some in taxes, put some off in SEP IRA. Um, and that's pretty much financially where I stood until I met your group. And yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get into that a little bit more because you've been a great success story here. Now, when you think back to before joining the mastermind group, like what were some of the biggest frustrations that you were facing, um, like on a, personal finance level and investment level? You kind of talked about finance. Um, and then, share a little bit about, was there a specific moment that you realized like, something has to change? Or was this like a gradual development? Like, well, can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so I wanted, as dentists, we make pretty good money depending on where we are at in our lives. Um, but a lot of it goes into taxes. And I also was starting to get a little bit burned out, wanted to find some type of investment strategy where I could make passive income and, take a day or two off from the clinical aspects of dentistry. And that's where I kind of joined your group. And you always talked about how uh, you're able to take some time off of your clinical practice and spend time with your family, etc. So those were some of my, I
Sort of
guess,
main reasons, right? Like, so it was
my
like, hey,
reasons
look,
were
I didn't have control of your time, right? Like doing what
correct.
you
Yeah,
wanted to do,
yeah,
right? Okay, so
yeah.
that makes sense. Now, so this is where you decided, all right, well, I want to try to go this Walk of Wealth Mastermind route. Now, what were you most worried about before joining this group, right? Like, was there a fear that almost stopped you from joining?
Yeah, of course, there's always fears of losing money, seeing if this is really, is it legit or is it a scheme? Is it a scam? Because there's a lot of scamsters out there. But
Yep.
because this is a group by dentists for dentists, kind of motivated me to join. And then I see, I joined the Facebook group first, and then some of the deals were coming through, and I'm like, wow, these are pretty legit deals, pretty awesome. And that's what made me join Mastermind was, some of the investments and the information that was really powerful. They came along with the investment. It wasn't just like, oh, look, here's the deal, but it was like, here's the deal and here's the breakdown of everything. So that's what motivated me to join the group.
Right. So you kind of had you kind of had an idea what was about from the Facebook group, right? So you kind
Right.
of had a little bit of an evolution there. Now, what finally, decided to make you decide to join the mastermind group? Like, was there a turning point where you said, listen, I can't keep doing this alone? Or you were kind of in the first group when we kind of announced it, right? Like, how did you decide and what finally made you decide? Was it an instant? Like what, can
I
you
think I
think about
saw,
a little bit about the thought process?
yeah, I think I saw one of your Facebook Live groups where you had spoken about you don't have to invest in the stock market. You could take your IRA money and do a self-directed IRA and then use that to invest in a bunch of other things. So that's what kind of like, that was like the light bulb that turned me on. Like, okay, I don't really, the markets are going to go up and down, but what could I do to invest somewhere else? And that's what really motivated me was the IRA club and self-directed IRA. Um, and you could invest in other things than just only the stock market.
Yeah, I know you've been heavy with your self-directed IRA. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. Now, when you're looking back, right? And what would you've been in this group now for 9 months, going on 10 months. What would you say, what surprised you the most about the community? Like the support or the
Yeah,
insights
definitely the
that you've
support,
gained?
the different knowledge that the different people could bring. That was great.
Yeah, in terms of how about in terms of the, you know, community, the community itself, right? Like the other, your
Itself
peers.
is great because they're dentists, right? So you kind of trust your own profession before somebody else. Of course, there are speakers that are in different professions, but community itself is great because you could speak to people that are in the same situation as you are, and kind of bounce ideas off each other and really get that great um, knowledge and support from each other and say, hey, look, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, I've done this type of deal in the past and it's been really great for me. You should look into it. So that's where the community comes in for me.
Yeah. 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 No, that's well said. I mean, we have a very diverse group with all types of investment experience, and it just makes us collectively stronger. No, I couldn't agree more with what you just said there. Now, how has being, part of this mastermind group transformed your financial situation?
Um,
And can you give us, a real world example of new passive income streams that you've created?
yeah, sure. So I joined in about October, I believe, and
Hmm.
that's when the first oil and gas deal came out. It was about the
Yep.
and I invested in that right away. I mean, I saw the financials on that, the reports, all the due diligence that you and your team did on that deal. So I invested right away in that, and we just recently got our first distribution back in March, and it's been great. I mean, 4%, 4 to 5% a month. That's insane.
Per month, right? Yeah, that one's been doing
Not
really
years,
well.
per month. So,
Yeah.
that automatically was okay. Wow, woo, this is crazy. So then I invested in a few other deals. I did the pave deal, which is different paving companies coming together as a whole.
Yeah,
Um,
private equity deal. Yep.
Deal, right? That and then the medical real estate deal. And I also invested in another oil and gas deal last month, which involved about 8 wells.
Yep.
So, I mean, I from since October till now, I invested in 4 different deals. Some of it I used my own savings. Some of it I converted my SEP IRA to self-directed IRA. So financially, I mean, so far it's been fantastic.
Yeah. So
Um,
you really created some streams of income, right? Like, I mean,
right,
you've
right,
really,
absolutely.
this is real life you've created in just a short time, and you've invested in multiple deals, two oil and gas deals. Um, and you can see that just in this short time period, that the impact that it could potentially have, right, in
Right,
the long run, right? Like, so now, what about taxes? Now, you mentioned, you kept mentioning self-directed IRA. Well, tell us a little bit about that, right? Like, so we had the self-directed, the president of the self-directed IRA club came and presented to us about how to use it and
correct.
use our retirement funds to do self-directed IRA, and use your retirement money to invest in some alternate assets. Now you've been doing that, right? Like, tell us a little bit about that, and have you saved any money on taxes? So this can talk about your self-directed. You could talk about oil and gas. I mean, have you saved money in taxes?
Sure. So, okay, just off the bat, the oil and gas deal, you get about, around 80% depreciation loss on the K1. Um,
It's actually going to be
off the bat,
90%. Yeah,
90%,
90% better. Yeah, yeah.
90% around there. So boom, right there. That automatically uh, offsets the taxes on your active income. So that's
Yep.
how I save money on my taxes. Of course, it's going to be for the next year, um, but just right there, oil and gas will help you save on taxes. I haven't looked into other avenues yet, but I'm sure it's more to come. There's tons of information. I still have to go. I haven't even touched 10% of the information that's out there. So
Yeah,
on
the
the
modules,
modules,
we have our modules there. Yeah, you
yeah,
got
yeah.
to make sure
Yeah.
you.
I haven't even. There's just so much out there, but so far I've been blessed and amazed with the Facebook Live, the coaching calls, etc. I haven't even gone back to the modules yet, but when I get time, I'll get there.
All right, yeah, very good, very good. Now, let's just say like beyond just money, how has it impacted the outlook on the future, right? In terms of building passive income, building wealth, and building financial freedom. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
how has this given you an outlook? How has this changed your outlook?
it changes. It's huge, right? Just in a matter of 9 to 10 months, I've generated a stream of income, and now I'm just going to keep on repeating what I've been doing, and eventually I see myself working less, and just creating an early retirement for myself versus that 65 or whatever age that most people retire at. I can see myself retiring early, um, just by doing what I'm doing here.
Yep. Yeah, you can definitely accelerate wealth creation with this type of investing. So, now what about time with your family? Has anything changed in terms of that or your
I'm a
stress
little bit,
levels?
yeah, I'm a little bit relaxed now. I don't have to really worry about generating wealth elsewhere. Everything I want to, I found in this one mastermind. There's tons of information, there's tons of deals that come through. So it definitely gives me a peace of mind of where I could take the active income and turn it into passive income, use some of the wealth that I've already made, by saving in my SEP, directing it to elsewhere, and just keep on growing and not worrying about the market and the fluctuations in the market. In fact, right before the market dropped, a couple of weeks ago, I pulled my money out and invested in one of the deals, and that was amazing because I saved tons of money there. So, I really see it's a really positive impact that it has on my life, and I encourage other people and other dentists to, take that first move, take the plunge, and highly recommend this mastermind.
Now, yeah, I appreciate that. Now, what about your knowledge base, right? So, in part, one of the basic pillars of this mastermind group is to make us an educated investor, especially when we're talking about it as investing as a limited partner, whether it be real estate, oil and gas, private equity, but just becoming an investor. How would you say that your knowledge base grown in terms of as an investor, in terms of financial terms and things that you might not have ever heard of before?
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of terminology that I haven't heard before, or I did hear, but I didn't really. Um, my understanding of it was different than what it actually meant. For example, like IRR, right? I heard the term or cap rates. I hear these terms, but I didn't really know what they actually meant in the long term. So some of these terminology, I didn't really understand it fully as I thought I had. And then, that's, I feel like majority of us are in the same boat. We don't really understand until we really dive deep or somebody breaks it down for us. And that's what this group has done, is really broken it down for us, what it actually means, how to take advantage of it. And so knowledge wise, yeah, definitely. It's broken what I thought it was, but now I know what it really is.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Now, if you could go back in time, what would you say to the version of yourself who was on the fence about joining the mastermind group?
I should have joined a long time ago. That's what I would have told myself. Was I should have took the plunge. You got to roll the ball. Can't The ball's not going to roll itself. You got to push yourself. Just make that plunge and see where it takes you. It's all positive.
Yep. I mean, action. Yep. Success follows action. Yep. So that's great. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. So thank you so much, Dr. Krupal, for sharing your story and your journey. It's always inspiring to hear about the incredible transformations happening within our community.
Okay.
If you're watching this and you're feeling stuck, maybe you're grinding away at your practice, feeling like you have no way out, or maybe you're worried about your financial future. It doesn't have to be that way. So click the link below and let's talk about how the Walk of Wealth Mastermind group can help you create the financial freedom that you deserve.